Good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and you are breathing. Today is Tuesday, March the 27th, 2024, and I would like to welcome you all to This is Just a Thought with Stephen Cornegay. Hit that like and subscribe button along with that bell icon so you can get notified when I drop these podcasts. Keep you in the loop. Hey, there's a lot of interesting topics, a lot of discussions, a lot of subjects, a lot of yay and nay that I will be discussing, and I would love for you all to catch it. And if anything, hey, let me know what you think. Whether yeah or nay. Is it good, bad, ugly, pathetic, simple minded? I don't know. Whatever the case may be, let me know. Get in that comment section. Let me know. Or send me a message somehow, some way. Let me know what you guys think. Hey, I won't get offended. Just won't. It's been many, many moons on this earth. Maybe not that many, but it's been enough that I know everyone's not going to agree with me. Everyone's not going to like what I say. And everyone, more importantly, isn't going to think how I think. So I'm okay. That's what makes us humans. We don't all think the same. We don't all feel the same. Hey, it's okay. It is okay. Well, yeah, get in that comment section. Let me know what you guys think about the topics I discuss. Hit that like and subscribe button along with that bell icon so you can get notified also. Stay in the loop. Just stay in the loop. All right, let's move along here, man. Hey, today's word of the day, impetus, which means impulse, incentive, or stimulus. Impetus. Like I said, I hope everyone is enjoying their, what is the day? Today's Wednesday. Hope everyone's enjoying their Wednesday. Midweek swing, hump day it is. Man, end of the work week is almost here. It is almost here. Well, as far as the weather goes here in North Carolina, the sun isn't shining. Not at all, not in the least. Rain, 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 rain. High of 50, maybe. That's a far cry from where we were this time last week when we were flirting and with the 70s. But hey, all good things must come to an end. All good things must come to an end. And the rain is here. Came in earlier this morning in the wee hours, around 2 or 3. I know I woke up around 3 and I heard it. Then sometime later, we got a little bit of thunder with it also. So it's been a pretty rainy day. It's been raining and it is expected to stop tomorrow evening around 8 o'clock sometime. And of course, the flood warnings, they're up, rightfully so. Why wouldn't it be? So we got the rain, possible flood warnings. We had thunderstorms in the wee hours of the morning. Temperature has dropped, but cheer up, cheer up. With Easter being right around the corner, a few days away, temperature expected to get this weekend into the 70s. Might get close to 80. Who knows? Just might, just might. And by the way, speaking of Easter, I heard this morning, earlier this morning when I got up after that little thunder woke me up or whatever, what have you, that the cost of doing business as it relates to Easter this year has skyrocketed. Mm, mm, mm. The price of cocoa. The price of cocoa has gone up. So chocolate prices have risen right around time for Easter. How about that? All those Easter egg hunts, and then you got those. I always love the Easter egg hunts myself. I even did it with my kids a few times, and I think I had more fun than they did. I just did. I'm a big kid at heart. I just am. Can't you see? Don't I look like a big lovable kid? Yeah, but looks like the price of chocolate, along with the price of everything else, I mean, it stands to reason. Why wouldn't it go up? Everything else is going up, so they're saying the price of chocolate's going up. Quite possibly, uh, Easter for a lot of kids may not be that grand this year. Trust me, these parents are going to go out and they're going to spend their last to see their little bundles of joy, their kitties, happy and filled with chocolate bouncing off of the walls. You just saw. So yeah, the price of chocolate's going up. Wow. Price of the cocoa bean. Wow. Who knew? Who knew? All right, let's move along here, man. Man, wow. When I talked to you guys yesterday, I was going to touch on it, but I really didn't touch on it because I really didn't know that much about it. It was still developing. The Baltimore bridge collapse. I'm sure we all heard about that. And what they're saying is yesterday morning around 1:30 a.m., a Singapore container ship, cargo ship, struck a major part of that bridge's pillars, holds it up. Now, when the ship struck the pillar, it caused the Francis Scott Key Bridge to collapse, fell in the water, broke into three pieces. If you've seen the video footage, it's just amazing, just amazing. But, if you were thinking, well, it was really 1:30 in the morning, really weren't that many people around. Well, that bridge is a major thoroughfare for Baltimore. Um, if you know anything about these cities, major cities or port cities, because Baltimore is a port city, as much as you hear about the crime, Baltimore is a major port city. A lot of goods and services go through Baltimore. I keep thinking about that episode of The Cosby Show. I keep thinking about that episode of The Cosby Show when Vanessa and her friends decided they were going to ride down to Baltimore to see this rock and roll band. I believe it was the Wretched, and they ended up getting stranded. They got robbed. Some guys stole their tickets, and then they went to a donut shop and ended up getting robbed, pickpocketed there also. The car was stolen. They had no way home, and luckily one of the girls' brother or friend of a brother saw them and gave them some money, or let them use a telephone. However it went, they ended up back home, and of course, the mother, old Clara Huxtable, had to go get them along with Cliff. And when they got in that house, she let her have it. You went to Baltimore to have big fun, didn't you, Vanessa? That that was just the funniest episode to me. But I digress. I digress. I'm sorry. I really shouldn't be talking about that. But yeah, Baltimore is a major port city. A lot of goods and services go through there. In fact, they're saying that with this bridge being collapsed, the Francis Scott Key Bridge, it could have been worse, but thanks to the quick thinking of Port Authority and law enforcement, traffic on the bridge was quickly closed. But unfortunately, there were some that were on the bridge at the time that cargo ship struck, and now 6 people are missing. It's been over a day now. Sadly, they're presumed dead. But what they're saying, officials are saying, is thanks to that quick thinking of those law enforcement and the Port Authority that closed off traffic in both directions, they may have, but actually did thwart something more catastrophic. Like I said, that's a major thoroughfare, so people are going back and forth. There's a lot of transporting of goods. There are people that are traveling that bridge all time of the night and all time of the morning. Man, just wow. And if you see the footage of what happened, and I don't think a lot of people really understand how a ship operates. Well, it's very similar to a car. Let's be honest with each other. So what happened is, what they're saying is, if you look at the video footage, you can see the lights flickering on the ship on and off 2 times. They lost power. When they lose power on a ship, they lose propulsion. Same way if your engine cuts off in your car, when you lose your engine power, you can't steer. So that stands to reason when that ship lost power, it lost its propulsion system, its steering capabilities. They couldn't steer. All they could do was drift. Now, it was in the harbor, so the speed, luckily, it wasn't too great, but it was enough, because that's a lot of force and it hit that pillar and it broke that bridge into 3 pieces. So they said hats off to the authorities, police, and the Port Authority. They thwarted a major catastrophe, sadly, uh, but 6 are presumed dead. Um, like I said, when you're on board of a ship, that's the worst thing that can happen. You lose power on the ship. That's the worst thing that can happen. You lose power on the ship, or there's a fire on the ship. And also in that video, had to be maybe it was a fire, or maybe it was just the engine had clunked out, but you could see black smoke billowing from that smokestack, and that's not a good sign. Black smoke from on board a ship or coming off of a ship is a sign of a fire. Chances are something's burning, fuels burning, engines burning. So it stands to reason. Yeah, like I said, I don't think people fully understand how I don't fully, completely understand, but I know enough about how ships work. You know, with the minimal time that I was in the United States Navy, I can honestly tell you, when you lose power on the ship, all hands on deck, everybody's scrambling around trying to get that damn power back on. Because if you can't steer, you're just going to sit there and go adrift. And you go adrift where? You don't know. You can't steer. You're off course. And obviously that ship was off course. It quite possibly, I mean, it should have been not anywhere near that bridge, that close. I mean, and my question is, uh, maybe it happened so fast. I don't think that's a drawbridge. I think it's just a regular straight bridge. I don't think it, breaks up and rises and lowers. It possibly could have cleared it, but with it losing power, it steered right to the pillar. A support beam. Let's be honest with each other. It was a support beam. Steered right to it. So that sadly that was it. Now, like I said, Baltimore is a major port, of course. It transports goods, but this port is known for its auto parts for major car brands, from Nissan even to the Bentley Rolls Royce. So, because of what has happened with this bridge and its importance and the movement of goods and services in our supply chain, because they're already saying, hey, the supply chain's got a little kink in it now. We can't get goods and we can't get the goods, the merchandise in and out like we used to. So they now have rerouted those services, rerouted those goods and other merchant ships, from New York to Virginia, up and down the eastern seaboard. Everyone has got to chip in. Maybe even Wilmington would get in the mix. Wilmington, North Carolina. That is a major, not just transportation port, but it does houses some cargo ships. At one point in time, I can also tell you, I thought about joining the Merchant Marines when I got out, and I was going to go down to Wilmington and join the Merchant Marines, hit the seas once again. Damn. No way. That sea life is rough. I loved it. I really did. I love the sea life, but it is rough and tough and all that stuff. It ain't for the faint. It ain't for the weak. It puts something on you being out to sea. But I enjoyed it. I love the elements. So what they're saying, I digress again. I love these nautical stories. Old Navy man, I can't help it. But what they're saying is they're having to reroute, the goods, the merchandise, the cargo from New York. They started with Baltimore. They're saying all the goods and services, they started with a small amount that they were able to move. They're moving it to Virginia, and they're going to be moving things around from there. As far as it goes with these ports, a lot more goes into it than you just bringing in a ship and then just dropping a load with the cargo containers. You got to have rail tracks. You got to have trucks to move the stuff out. So that's another thing they're talking about as far as the supply chain. They're trying to get people there to do this. And the ports they choose, they got to have that railway system so they can move those containers to those trucks. So apparently these ports or a few ports in between New York to Virginia and Wilmington also. I don't think I want to say that Wilmington has very limited resources as far as moving via those tracks, those trains. So it looks like it's going to be from New York to Virginia. Maybe there will be a few. I'm sure there will be a few things coming through Wilmington also. So it looks like the makers of Nissan and from Nissan and other car makers to the Bentley, because it looks like they're going to have to figure it out. Yeah, it hit that bridge and it just tore it apart to pieces. So, like I said, there's six presumed dead. There were workers and there were some cars. There may have been some people that were in cars when it first broke. They were saying there were some cars on the bridge, and in the video or certain angles of the video, you can see those cars going into the water. The cars just weren't sitting there empty and idle. People were in there. So is six the final number? Time will tell. Time will tell, sadly. Time will tell. Yeah, officials have came out and said, expect some delay in the supply chain. President Biden has vowed to launch any and every support there is because, as you know, his administration, that's a major thing for them. The transportation, they were trying to revamp everything, not just your roadways. They were talking about the cargo ships, the train, the railway system. uh, airway system, which by the way, man, I got to sidetrack just for a moment. Just for a moment. I promise I'll get back to this Baltimore uh, tragedy. Um, hmm, what the hell is going on with Boeing? You got doors flying off in mid-flight. You got fires shooting out of wings. You're finding that there are bolts missing from these doors, bolts missing from the panels, bolts, screws, hexagon screws or whatever missing from windows. Some windows have flown out during mid-flight. Why? What in the world is going on with Boeing and their maintenance? Is maintenance. That's all it is. So you got that problem going on. Folks are up in arms about Boeing. A lot of folks say, "Hey, I ain't flying on no Boeing plane." I can't say I blame them. If you saw that video of that door flying off of that plane mid-flight, when I say mid-flight, they were up some feet. And you hear the story of the woman saying she had to grab her son and hold on to him because his shirt had already ripped off and he was going out the damn door also. Boeing. What in the world? Guys got to get on the stick with your maintenance, man. And it's showing. Because like I said, it's maintenance all day long. There's nowhere in the world you should be missing bolts on a door. There's nowhere in the world windows should be flying off mid-flight panels. There's nowhere in the world you should have fire shooting out the wings. The passengers are sitting there looking like, oh, look at that. There's fireball right there. Wow. So I don't know what's going on with Boeing, but yeah, back to this tragedy in Baltimore. The Biden administration, that was their major sticking point on the campaign trail, how they were going to improve our infrastructure. And now this infrastructure in Baltimore, the supply chain has been hit. Not only the supply chain for the U.S. economy, because that has been a talking point. Also, how this is going to affect the U.S. economy. If you're saying, well, how does that work? Well, the U.S. economy, it does runs off of the transport and movement, importing and exporting of goods and services. And if there's a major hit at one of these major ports or a well-known port that is used to do these things, it can affect the U.S. economy. Now, the mayor and the mayor of Baltimore, the governor of Maryland, and like I said, President Biden have all vowed and said, hey, yeah, we're going to have some problems, but we're going to work it out. We're going to fix it. But let's think about the residents of Baltimore for a second, because quite honestly, truthfully, that just wasn't a major hub for the transport of goods and merchandise and cargo containers and whatever, what have you. That was a major thoroughfare for those residents of Baltimore to get from one side to the other. Think about it. Yeah, it was a major port. It was just a major roadway that they used every day to commute to and fro, from thither to yonder. So how's this going to affect them and that local economy? The local economy is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the local economy, because when you have these residents that use this as a major thoroughfare, they're coming through. They stop off a lot of places in between or whatever, what have you. But not only that, how is that going to affect their local economy? Because you have a lot of truckers that go through Baltimore, so they stop off at these little service stations, restaurants, hotels. How are they going to get around? They got to figure out a way to get around now, to get through Baltimore. There's going to be a traffic headache. It just is. If you really sit down and think about it, a lot of times in life, we just don't think about these little things that we do every day that are minuscule and they have no importance or bearing in our lives until something happens. And then we see, uh-oh, wow, I didn't think of that. Uh, from the simplest things. Just like when you and I lose power in our homes during some storm. We don't miss the power until it's not there. You know, I told you guys to tell some months ago about how the power was out for a few days, and I kept walking into a room and hitting the damn light switch. I just did. It was a habit. Didn't miss it until the power was off. Just a habit that, that we aren't aware of until we are without that habit that we formed for whatever reason or purpose or whatever gain we were trying to get, until that's gone. So think about those folks in Baltimore, how they're going to get around. How is this going to affect their economy? You bet your bottom dollars it will affect their economy. It has to. That was a major port. There was a major source of uplifting their economy. Whether it be, like I said, the truckers coming through or people moving to Baltimore to do business, conduct business, start up business. We oftentimes hear about Baltimore and its crime. I make no quarrels about that. But this port, that bridge, is a major part of their economy. So they're going to have to try their best. They don't have to try. They are going to, and they've already vowed, and they said, "Hey, we are rebuilding." The modest guesstimate is months, but the actuality is going to take some years, and they will be feeling the effects of this bridge going down like that for years. They just will. Like I said, it was a major transportation hub for moving of goods. Don't know too many people, myself personally, that have Bentleys. What does that say about me and my friends or associates? We broke. Excuse me. We are. We're broke. We don't own a Bentley. I don't think if I had that much money, I wouldn't spend that much money in a car. I just wouldn't. I can honestly tell you, I don't think I would spend that much money in a car. They're nice. I will give you that. They are nice if you're into that luxury car thing. But uh, I don't know if I really want to just be sitting around, driven around, drinking with a bar in the back. I'd rather be driving. No, I'm just playing. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. That's a little bit too much for me. Maybe that's just me and my common man's mindset. But yeah, those auto car parts. They're going to have to figure something out, and trust and believe. I think they will. I think they've already started working on it. Like I said, they've already rerouted some things to Virginia. Hey, um, there certainly are a lot of shipyards or ports in Virginia, Norfolk. I can tell you firsthand. There's so many of them. I didn't know where a lot of them were. A lot of them were sitting right beside the naval base. I thought it was just another part of the Navy, but no, that was a transportation port for moving of goods and services. So you never know. It looks like they're figuring it out bit by bit, but man, it's going to be a while. It is going to be a while. So pray for those folks in Baltimore, and pray for those folks that lost those loved ones. Also, they're saying six. It may be more. It may be more. In fact, by the time I finish this podcast, it may be more. Because like I said, if you look at that video footage, certain angles, certain aspect, you can see cars that were moving across right when that thing was coming up under that bridge and right before it hit it. And it won't know one or two cars. It just wasn't. Now, the investigators, as of the time of doing this podcast, and they may do it at some point in time, they haven't yet boarded the ship because they have to get that ship stable. You can't just jump on that thing right now. It has had a catastrophic damage. In fact, that ship is from Singapore, and in the past 2 or 3 years or so, it has been cited in violations for hull damage. When I say hull damage, that's the outside. There's probably some punctures or some rivets that were popping off, coming off. That affects your seaworthiness, whether you stay afloat or not. Nothing was said, or they didn't get cited for anything with that engine or that propulsion system. But obviously something was wrong. They lost power at a bare minimum of twice, because you can see the lights flicker on and off 2 times. So at a bare minimum of 2 times, the lights flickered, they lost power. Now, the interest in the timeline of this, that's why I say, man, it doesn't take long for things to happen. I think they're saying they pulled out of port about 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, if you know anything about a ship, when it pulls out, it can't just shoot through the harbor like a speedboat. It ain't a speedboat, especially a cargo vessel that big, that size. So they were trucking their way through, building up speed, and sometime shortly thereafter, they left at 1. I believe they're saying around half 15 minutes after, or up to 20 minutes after, that's when they started noticing something was going wrong. And right at halfway through the hour at 1:30, that's when it hit the pier. So they had, but before that, they had sent out the Mayday. That's how the Port Authority and the police were able to cut that traffic off to that bridge in both directions. And sadly, they just had to sit there and watch as that ship lost power and ran into that pillar. So far, no one has been blamed. They're still investigating. When investigators haven't had a chance to get on board that ship, like I said, they got to make sure that thing ain't gonna take a dive. So we'll see what happens with that. I will keep you guys updated with that. Like I said, pray for those folks, everyone involved. Pray for those law enforcement officials and Port Authority, because they did do their job, and they did it quite well under quickly developing stressful circumstances. That's the sea life. You never know when it's going to turn upside down and inside out for you. Got to be on your P's and Q's at all times. Just do. All right. Let's go get it. Y'all, I'm going to be honest with you. This man. This man here. Oh, man. When I heard this yesterday evening, I said to myself, you know what? This might be it for me. It might be it for me, folks. Former President Donald Trump is selling Bibles. Yes, he's selling Bibles. I can't make this up. The material just keeps coming for me. It just keeps coming for me. I'm sitting at home yesterday. I'm relaxing. I got off work. I got my feet up, and I flipping through channels, and it's towards the end of the night, and that comes across the screen. And I just immediately stopped it. Well, the former president is selling Bibles, a translation or version of the King James Bible, for $59.99. $59.99. Wow. And this Bible has all the bells and whistles and streamers and party noise makers, and everybody get your party hats on. Selling the version of the King James version of the Bible or translation of the Bible with the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and Old Faithful, the Pledge of Allegiance. I can't make this up. I can't make this up. I'm not being funny. I'm not being an arrogant jerk. I'm not being a Bible thumper. But man, why, what in the entire world is going on with you? Well, we know what's going on with them. Gotta pay them court costs, them fines, them rulings, them judgments. So much so, those judgments now, they're saying those judgments are at upwards or right at $500 million with a B. You know, you got a few million here, you got a few million there, you got a million or so here, yada, 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 rah, rah, rah. So yeah, you're standing right at $500 million in fines, rulings, judgments for your court cases, and you ain't even went through all of them. Well, it saddens me to say this, but you know, in passing with certain people in my day-to-day conversations, I say this a lot. It's sad to say, a lot of folks do hustle church, or they attend until the good Lord deals with them. I don't see why now all of a sudden he has this holier than thou. He came up with a bright idea. He probably had this thing on the back burner for a while. Comes up with the bright idea to start selling the Holy Bible, or, excuse me, translation or interpretation or a version of the King James Bible with the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Old Faithful, the Pledge of Allegiance. Whew. Wow, Mr. President. Donald Trump. What in the world, man? Now, here's where it gets very interesting for me. With him selling these Bibles, he has a licensing deal. You hear me right? A licensing deal. If you're saying to yourself, what does that mean? Licensing means he owns it. He gets all the proceeds. He gets all that money. He gets all that monies, so that certainly is going to help him with his legal woes and troubles. Like I said, those fees and fines and rulings, they're at $500 million, so he can get enough folks to buy that Bible. He can the recent one was where he had that judgment lowered for that his business dealings in New York. So he got it cut in half. You know, it was like 300 and something million. He got it cut down to like 170 something million. So if he can get enough folks to buy those Bibles, he can pay that fine off and then make his appeal, because he can't make the appeal till he pays that fine. That's why I said this guy might have had this in the works for a while, because it just spurred up all of a sudden. And when I heard it, I was like, whoa. Wait a minute. He's selling what? Bibles. Why, what in the John Gooden and Brother Where Art Thou is going on here? If you know the movie, you know the movie. And if you know that time in history, there were folks going around selling Bibles. They were Bible sellers. That's literally what they were, Bible sellers. And in that movie, Brother Where Art Thou, John Gooden was a Bible seller. He beat the brakes off of George Clooney and that other guy, but hey, he was a Bible seller. Apparently, our former president is a Bible seller too. Is he going to beat up Joe Biden? I'm sorry. This is hilarious. I could live another 50 years and you wouldn't be able to tell me this is what is going on now with this presidential campaign. Okay, I'm just going to say it. He's making a mockery out of the whole process at this point in stage. I'm serious. All jokes aside, I laugh, I joke, I make little quick remarks or whatever. All jokes aside, he's making an ass out of the whole political process. You got all these legal troubles and woes. You keep running off at the mouth, talking trash about folks. And then he got a gag order. The judge now has gave him another gag order saying he can't say pretty much he can't talk about anyone that is related to or involved in this trial. So you got all this stuff going on. You're steady running your mouth. And now you're selling Bibles. God, man, oh man, oh man. At this point, like I said, he's just making a mockery out of the whole thing. I'm sorry. He just is. This man, this is the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I've seen men do many of things to obtain power. I have. I really have. And I know you have too. We've all seen it. We've all been privy to that. But I don't think we've seen anything like this. So, former President Trump, former president, former real estate tycoon, businessman, entrepreneur, reality TV star, and now you can add Bible salesman to the resume. Mm, mm, mm. So he controls the licensing. He gets all of the money. All proceeds go to him. It ain't gonna take him long to pay off that fine. Is it? I think not. Wow. Yeah, I'm done. This is it. It's a wrap. It's a wrap for me. I don't know about you guys, but it's a wrap for me. This is it. I can't do this. I can't do this. This guy's selling Bibles with the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights, and the whole Pledge of Allegiance in it. He's taunting and saying, "Pray and make America, or make America pray again." Okay, come on, cut it out. Come on now. Make America pray again? If it floats your boat, it floats your boat. I'm not going to knock anyone that, buys that Bible, just like I don't knock anyone that supports Donald Trump or Joe Biden or whoever or whatever. I don't knock them. If it floats your boat, it floats your boat. If it makes you happy, it makes you happy. If you sleep better at night, you sleep better at night. It's none of my business, none of my quarrels. It's not my fight or plight to argue with you about it. If that's what you roll with, that's what you roll with. You get no quarrels or arguments from me. But this right here is it for me, folks. Done. I can't. Boy, I'm going to go and get out of here. I'm going to go and get out of here. I'm going to go and skedaddle today. I've heard it all. Get in that comment section. Let me know what you guys think. How you feel. Am I going too far with saying this is just way too much? I mean, am I going too far by saying he's a hustler's hustler? He is a hustler. I don't care what you say. He's a hustler. He's a hustler. Just is. He's a hustler. You can't knock him. He is who he is. And he's never made any bones about it either. Let's be honest with each other. He's never denied what he was. He's putting it all out there on Front Street before, from the moment he stepped on the scene to now, and the Bible's selling. He's made it known who he was. Oh, man, so get in that comment section. Let me know what you think, whether yay or nay. Do you agree with what he's doing or do you not agree? And also, let me know what you think about the situation in Baltimore, man. That's heart tugging. That is heart tugging. That's a bad way to go. Just is. Just minding your own business. Just living life. And then that happens. So get in that comment section. Let me know what you think. Like I said, whether yay or nay as it relates to Donald Trump. What do you think about the situation going on in Baltimore with the bridge and now the infrastructure, the supply chain chink that they're saying is a coming, but they're also saying it may not. If we can get things on moving fast enough, it won't be that much of a ripple effect. It won't. It won't. It won't. Hope they can. I hope they can open up some of those other ports and they have the tools and people and machinery in place, then they can continue to roll like they did at this port in Baltimore. Just do. Certainly don't need any more hits to the economy. We just don't. We just don't. Hey, and like always, thank you all for lending me your ears this morning. Continue to like, support, share. Give me feedback. Let me know what you think. Hit that like and subscribe button along with that bell icon so you can get notified when I drop these podcasts. And as always, thank you for listening to This Is Just a Thought with Stephen Cornegay. Amen.